All right, let's talk about Best Director. What are the nominees for Best Director for the 2015 Oscars?
Okay, we got Morton Tildum, The Imitation Game. We got Bennett Miller, Foxcatcher. We got Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. I think I said that right.
I think you might have.
Birdman. We got Richard Linklater, Boyhood. And we got Wes Anderson for The Grand Budapest Hotel.
I've actually seen all those movies.
Woo!
Yes. You did it!
Yes.
I did it! What do I win?
Episode's over.
You gotta tell us what one's gonna win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't know. I don't know future.
Well, let's talk about it.
It's a lot of pressure.
I personally have not seen Imitation Game. Talk about the directing style.
Okay, so
it was okay.
Yeah,
It was
think
very
it's weird
average.
that it's
It was
nominated.
nothing remarkable.
You know what I'm gonna
remember,
and I don't know why I
good.
don't know why this stuck with me, but there were some really strangely directed war scenes in the middle of the movie. Like,
Yeah, out of nowhere.
cuts of tanks tromping over things and some army guys running around. We don't know how to film
You know
a
what?
war.
I
Maybe
kind of
that's some
forgot
extra
about that.
It's like they knew how to make a drama like that's about people and that kind of thing and personal drama, but then like, oh, we needed this World War II. We probably should show some of that. And
Because
it's
I think
kind of awkward.
it was like a lot of the film is them just muddling around with like, oh, it's like computer science stuff.
Right.
Remind the audience that there's urgency, but I never felt urgency at all.
I think maybe that one, maybe it was more motivated through the performances, the directing, like, right? Because
Right.
that is having just as much to do with directing as
Right,
the
right.
edits
Sure.
and the visual stuff. So I think that maybe is why that one was so highly regarded in the directing. I still don't necessarily think it stands out,
Right.
but like people that weren't nominated that I felt like maybe deserved a little more. Given some press about the woman who directed Selma. I don't remember her name, but she wasn't nominated. But I felt like that definitely stood out more than Imitation Game or even Theory of Everything.
I want to talk about Wes Anderson because he's always the oddball, and it's kind of like Wes Anderson. I feel like he probably should win an Oscar at some point because his directing style is very unique. But it's always kind of like, but it's so different. Like, is that ever gonna happen? You know,
Right?
Like,
And it's interesting too that you mentioned that because I think his skill is definitely worthy of accolades.
His film is up for 9 Oscars.
Yeah, and
Which
this
is
is the
pretty
point.
amazing. And of all the films that he's done, I'm a little surprised that this is the one to get so much.
Yeah, because I don't even
recognition.
necessarily think that this is his best movie.
I don't think so either.
I think that, like, of what he's made so far, I think, like, Moonrise Kingdom would have been a great one to
love
honor
that
him.
one, yeah.
I love Grand Budapest Hotel, but I
As
think
did
that
I.
it's so different from everything else that's nominated. Like, it's very Wes Anderson. So, like, I'm kind of worried of whether he'll ever,
Yeah, I mean, he's very much the auteur director, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has
absolutely.
a very specific style, and you kind of recognize that. So it's hard to kind of award like that one, something like that for a specific like entry, as opposed to like
a lifetime achievement or
Exactly.
something.
Right, and
Yeah.
again, all art is subjective, but if you have a movie like that and you're like, okay, what are we basing our grading on at this point? You know
Right,
what I
whereas
mean?
if you
Like-
were to take that out of the equation, you can kind of put them all in the same category of like these dramas, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can see how these films are comparable. You throw that in the mix, and you're like, whoa!
And if that
I don't know
wins,
how-
then
what are my rubrics?
Right,
What are
right,
my
exactly. If that
basing
one
this
wins,
off of?
then it kind of negates everything else. It kind of it's kind of like breaks.
But it's not going to
everything.
win, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, well then let's flip it on its head and go to what the favorite is. Let's talk about Boyhood.
Go ahead, yeah.
I mean, I think, like you said, he's the favorite, but
He approached it from a very kind of unique stand. He's like, I want to film a film about a boy's childhood growing up in real time. So, I mean, like, who else has approached something like from that angle? He's like, this is going to be a 12-year venture for me.
And is that is something on the director? That's his.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, this was entirely him, right?
Right. That's his kind of adventure. It's his kind of quest that he embarked on, and that's, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be the thing that we're talking about for every category for Boyhood. I mean, that's like, it all comes down to that.
Right. And in
venture.
its own right, it kind of stands out in a similar way to as Wes Anderson's directorial style, is that while it fits in closer with the dramas, just the way it was done, the kind of film that it is, the uniqueness that it presents in all of cinema history, it cannot be played or overplayed, I guess.
While we're talking about kind of risky, moves and Birdman. I want to talk about Birdman. Okay, because that has I hate using the word gimmick because it's not a gimmick, but like the continuous style that the movie is filmed in. I mean, there were edits, but like it just that idea, that focus of like, let's make it feel like it's one continuous.
He's like, let's make it feel almost like a stage play too. Like beyond the camera moving, the way the movie itself within it feels very much like you're just watching a play on stage. Like people are
Which I think was the
constantly
intent.
moving on.
And after
I know, and I really like that.
After I watched the movie, I looked up some interviews from the guy who directed it. I can never remember.
Alejandro.
Yeah, but he said that he spoke to people in the industry, and everyone told him, "No, don't try this. Like you are killing your you're going to kill your movie if you try to do this. It's not like people have tried. This is not. It's not going to work."
Yeah, you'll see occasionally films will have like a shot or
very
like, remember
long cut.
children amend that shot. Like
Yeah.
they have,
and that was
it stands
incredible.
out,
The
but to
opening
do a
of-
whole
right.
film like that.
But I just want to point out that Alfred Hitchcock, actually, it was one of his goals to shoot an entire movie in one shot. He couldn't do it because of film.
Long enough.
Right. Digitally, you can do it now. And again, he hid his edits very well. I still feel like there's only like 6 of them in the entire 2-hour movie, which is impressive. But I think that's to be commended.
Also really well acted.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that, it's so easy to latch on to the one long take and how the undertaking of that, but that movie was, like, completely performance. Like, and imagine doing that multiple takes, too. Just like, if someone didn't nail their performance, all right, everyone back to one, we're going through that 20-minute take.
Right.
Like, it's just like, and the kind of pressure and the stress and the whatever of that undertaking.
Right, the director controlling his actors and the set and just the entire production of the film. Like, from a backstage point of view is impressive.
Right, and
his mastery over the craft.
And that itself could present itself for, like you said, stressful situations, having to keep cool, having to keep everybody cool,
Right. And I think what film haven't we talked about?
That's what I was just
We haven't talked about Foxcatcher, but I
almost
want to lump that into
it feels like
Foxcatcher
falls in more with the Imitation Game as far as like a more traditional.
Well, okay, I will say this from the director's point of view, it was very well carried by the acting, which obviously the director has a big influence on. I mean, you can take a great actor and give him to a bad director, and then you got a bad film. But
Hayden Christensen, Star Wars.
Exactly. I don't know. But the way the director
he's a great actor. He's a fantastic actor.
Foxcatcher, it was just so subtle. Like the way the director approached it, he wanted to keep it low key. Like everybody's kind of under acting in scenes. Like it's very. Like, Steve Carell comes on screen, he doesn't say anything for a while, he just kind of stares down his nose. And, it's very subtle. It's very...
It's very gray, and that's actually reflected in the color palette of the film itself.
Right.
But, again,
I think more tonal.
Yeah, you're right. It's very tonal, and you could tell, even in that, even though it may not stand out, you could see the skill and the expertise and the fine detail, how we're just talking about the color tone, matching the film tone, matching the performance, matching, all of that embodies thing. It's kind of interesting, too, going back a little bit to Birdman, how it's about the theater. I don't remember where I heard this, but I've heard that in theater, the most important thing in theater, a play, is the actors, right? Because but in film, the most important thing, or the most important person, is the director. And I think, so oftentimes I'll think about that. How is it clear that director in this film is clearly the most important? Can you see that person's hand in the making of this? And I think, to me, Birdman and Boyhood both really exemplify that, because you can see that. And it's interesting that Birdman is a film about or set in a theater that kind of transcends that a little bit and kind of plays with that idea. So, I think those are the easy favorites for me anyway. Because Foxcatcher and Imitation Game, they were great, but to me, there wasn't as strong an influence. I didn't, the director's voice didn't come out as much as in those other films.
All right, so... Who's your favorite? Who do you think's going to win?
My favorite actually is Boyhood, and I think Boyhood. He's the Linklater is the favorite. Everyone's talking about him, and I think he will win. But I do think that deserves it.
I gotta give props to the directing in Birdman, so that's who I'd like to see win. But I think Richard Linklater for Boyhood is probably going to take it.
I agree wholeheartedly with Chewie. I think it's just Birdman. I sat down, not really I knew it was about what it was about. But when I sat down and things just took off, and I was sitting there and I was just like, "Is this true? Is this seriously one shot? Is this thing ever going to cut?" And I was just like that throughout the entire film.
Boyhood for Bo.
Okay, so that was Best Director. We will have what?
A ham-handed, ham-fisted segue.
Ham.
All right. Well, that's
good. Good picks, guys.
Now you guys know what we think about.
You have to do this while me and Chris are just yelling ham at you
and
guys.
That is what you call an outro.
Nailed it.